when we are talking about balkanization of Pakistan, it's somehow been advocated time and again. And if we look at it with a very realist prism, it is happening in some sense because the same terror groups that Pakistan aims to empower for their own strategic benefits are the same ones which are biting them back, and that's happened time and again. Whether it's Northwestern Frontier Province, or Khyber Pakhtunkhwa, or even Balochistan, like you mentioned, for that matter, it's all even today fragmented. So, but if I were to ask you, do you think there is a timeline to this, and how soon do you think this is going to happen?
See, I would say that the 2020s are the big decade of change in the entire world. It's a decade of great geopolitical change. You have the virus going around, you have all kinds of geopolitical realignments happening. I would say India has 10 or 20 years at most in which to get its neighborhood in order, if it doesn't want to be left behind in the big race of the 21st century. India has to progress on many fronts, but India needs to give itself a reasonable time frame in which to solve these problems. We cannot have this problem sitting on our borders forever. It needs to be resolved. I would say India needs to give itself a 10-year time frame in which to deal with the Pakistan problem and find a solution. The 2020s need to be that decade, and that is the decade in which the Taliban has emerged. We need to use that in some way to our advantage.
Right. So, but if I may ask you this, balkanization of these territories is alone not enough, right? Now, when we speak about, say, the British colonialism or the Greater China that China claims, and nobody knows what the concept is, they come up with maps every now and then. But when in India, you speak about the concept of Greater India and how we were connected to the Western civilization way long ago, and our trade was all over the world, and that Pakistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, and all of these countries were a part of the same civilization. Everybody sort of gets outraged. They think it's some sort of an extremist ideology. They think the RSS is the birther movement for for the Akhanda Bharat concept and all of that. So how do we normalize our geopolitical interest? Because speaking strictly in a sense of our strategic needs, what you said is a reality, and we actually need that. So how do we sort of convince the public and sort of tell them the actual versions of our history?
There is no need to convince any public. The public respects might. Might is always right. That's the way the world works. Look at all the atrocities various powerful countries do. Does anybody complain? The US invades Afghanistan. The US invades Nicaragua. The US invades anywhere they want. Does anyone complain? No, they do not, because the Americans are powerful enough. What India needs to do is, instead of trying to convince everybody, just become powerful and pursue your national interest, not by words, but by actions. Actions matter. Indians love to talk. There is a saying, if you want something to be said, ask the Indians. If you want something to be done, ask the Chinese. India needs to get out of this mindset of talking forever. India needs to start acting. It doesn't matter. See, anytime you pursue your national interest, there's going to be criticism because you are changing the status quo. Ignore the criticism, strengthen yourself, strengthen your economy, strengthen your armed forces, strengthen your nuclear arsenal, decolonize your population, and go forward. These are the directions India needs to take. We need to develop a thicker skin. There's always going to be criticism. There's always going to be Hinduphobia in the West and other places. Just ignore it, strengthen yourselves, and move forward.
Please remember to subscribe to us and switch on the notifications for this channel. For our other social media links, more content, and to support our work, please visit citti.net. Dhanyavad. Namaskar.